If you have an invoice on hold entered in a previous financial year, once you try to change the status to pay and proceed with payment, you get a warning that the transaction date is not current. Should you delete the invoice and enter the invoice in the current financial year, or just change the transaction date of the invoice to the current financial year? In today's video, I'll show you how to deal with an unpaid invoice entered in a previous financial year.
In our example, Strata Plan 2222 has started a new financial year from 1st of October 2021, and it still has an outstanding invoice which was entered in September 2021. If I manage to change the status of the invoice to pay and proceed with payment, I get a warning that the transaction date must be in the current financial year. If I change the transaction date to October 2021, I change the financials of last financial year, which could have been already finalized. But how can I change the status of the invoice to pay and proceed with payment without changing the transaction date? One way could be canceling the invoice and re-entering it in the current financial year. That will result to both cancellation and re-entry in the current financial year, and the net result is the first entry in the last financial year. But how can we avoid the cancellation and re-entry in the current financial year, while this expense is only for the last financial year? While we cannot change the status of an invoice entered in a previous financial year in creditor invoices, we can resort to accounting, approve creditor invoices, and approve the payment without any warning message. Now the status of the invoice has changed to pay, and we can proceed with payment without changing the transaction date.